breeding guppies is so damn easy. I don't even really understand how it is that there are people out there who make a big deal out of being guppy breeders. I had zero experience breeding guppies. I've actually joked on guppy breeders in the past because it's, I mean, let's be real, it's guppies, right? It's not the like manliest fish on the market, right? But I wanted to breed something. Angelfish wasn't in the cards for me right now because I just don't have the time to keep up with the angelfish. I wish I was good at something that made real money, you know, like the stock market or something like that, but I'm not. I figured because I am not emotionally attached to guppies that it might be a little bit easier for me because I can go at it as in a very robotic, almost heartless, you know, point of frame of mind. You know, with angelfish, you know, it's very personal to me, so I do things that, you know, as a fish keeper is great, but as somebody who's trying to like make a profit, maybe not so much. So I went with a fish that I'm not gonna overthink. To be honest with you, I think back to all these videos I've seen, and yeah, you have to do this, and you have to do that, and you just gotta be just right. And no, whoa. I think it was Wild Fish Tanks. He has a shirt that says "Just add water." Yeah, that's all you gotta do. You gotta feed them, add water, and do I would say the bare minimum of tank maintenance. That might sound terrible to people out there, like, you gotta get bare minimum. No, that's not right. Yeah, listen, when I mean the bare minimum, is like you don't have to go crazy with all the water changes. You don't have to be extra. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be extra. I got these guppies here, and they're breeding for me in my outdoor setup. I change water, and I feed heavily. That's why I changed the water. But if you're just doing this at home, you can keep them and not really do anything extra. They're gonna breed for you, right? The problem lies in is if you try to make money off of it. That's where I think a guppy breeder is different from a person who has guppies that breed. A guppy breeder is taking the time to cull. That's the biggest, what I've seen, difference between a guppy breeder and a person that has guppies that breed. You got to take the time to stare at each individual fish and go, is this a good specimen? And if it's not, you have to find a way to remove and separate that specimen from the rest of your fish so that you're not breeding that trait and you're not selling people a fish that is subpar according to whatever standard, you know, people are going with. Me, my personal, I tried, when I started doing this, I was like, let me find out what is the standard of this. And to be honest with you, I think there's too many opinions out there in the world. There's too many authorities, all with different types of opinions. So I'm going with is it physically, as far as a guppy fish, the physical aspect of it, which is pretty much the biggest one, is the bent back issue, or if it's like stunted. When I say stunted, I'm talking about like not small, but like pushed in like a jelly bean type deal. Those are the two things that really stand out for me. I have Dumbo ear guppies, but I've noticed that some of them have fry, baby fish, that don't produce that Dumbo ear effect, which is the long fins on the side behind its gills. And I don't think that's a disqualification to be sold. So I'm not going to advertise Dumbo ear guppies. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to write, for instance, I have purple mosaic guppies. They are technically Dumbo ear, but they throw out fry every once in a while that is not. So I am not going to say they are Dumbo ear guppies. Because if I do say they are definitely Dumbo ear guppies, and if people don't understand that aspect of genetics, we'll get some that do not.
Oh, this is not a pure strain.
Well, to be honest with you, it's the opposite. The one without the Dumbo ear is actually more of a pure strain than the one with, because the one with is actually a mutation that people encourage by selective breeding. So it's actually opposite. So because people don't understand that, and I don't look, you send somebody a Dumbo ear guppy and they put out fish that some of them don't have Dumbo ears.
Oh, Aquafarm don't know what he's doing. He's a piece of cocky. Piece of doo-doo.
So I'm not gonna go ahead and put myself in that situation. I'm gonna sell you purple mosaic guppies, and if some of them come out, well, most of them are gonna come out Dumbo ear, hey, good for you, right? And I got these albino blue topaz. Now these are from a championship bloodline, and they're doing good for me. They get it on. They put in work, but they also eat their babies. So if you have just a regular tank, you know, you might have some put out like, let's say 20 babies, but they're gonna eat them. Unless you have a whole lot of plants, whether it be plastic or real, whatever, for the babies to hide until they're big enough that they don't get eaten. But that's problematic for me because I got to remove these guys. And if I have all these plants, it's very difficult to do. So I've come up with a process of moving fish from here to there with it. That's not too complicated, that I can go ahead and keep these little baby fry safe from their carnivorous, murderous parents. Now, on the other hand, I have Santa Claus guppies and marigold guppies, which both seem not to be carnivorous, as long as or cannibalistic. As long as you keep them well fed, their babies seem to be fine. So, you know, those fish I don't have to worry about as much, right? So that's the difference between breeding guppies and having guppies that breed. You know, it's just put them in a tank and whatever happens happens. That's the one aspect. And then there's ones that go more analytic with it, and they a little bit more careful as to what they're selling to the consumer. And I feel like I am a guppy breeder now with absolutely no experience. So whoever says that guppy breeding is this, that, and the other, you know what I'm saying?